my weights are right here, so it's really difficult to try to get the shot where I want it to be. You can see me, you can hear me. Let me get my desk because I'm gonna need that. I made banana bread. It's pretty tasty. Hi, I'm a local hippie, and today we're gonna be talking about books that I believe can be read in one sitting. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop for the quickest books that you can read on a rainy Saturday afternoon or on a sick day or whatever day of your choice, these are going to be it. Now, of course, this list could be as long or as short as you want it to be. So, and it's not going to be, and my list is not going to be all inclusive. So, getting into things, the first book I have right here is a book that I have never read to completion. I've tried to read this book multiple times and it just never works out. The writing doesn't really agree with me, and it might be because it's French. It's a French translation, and a lot of time what I'm seeing with French translation is that all of the French is not translated, and then the names are difficult to pronounce because they're French. And and if I don't even want to put the effort into figuring out what a character's name is, that tells me that's not a book that I need to be reading. That book is going to be The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. Um, this book is so short, so teeny. You could read it in one sitting. I'm sure you could. Um, and it's just me and the writing style and the translation of the French. We just don't agree, and so I don't think I'm ever going to pick this book up, to be completely honest with you. On this list is not a novel, but it's a play. It's going to be Shakespeare's Macbeth. This is my favorite Shakespeare. I love this play. I've read it twice. It's the only Shakespeare work that I've read more than once. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love Macbeth. And let me tell you, Mr. Macbeth, he knew how to roast. Okay, you didn't want to get in a roast match with him because you're going to lose every time. called he thought up, like, Shakespeare thought up like 10 ways to call somebody a coward in one sentence. It was insane, and it made me laugh really, really hard. This could definitely be read in one sitting if you have the attention span. I did not read this in one sitting because I unfortunately do not have the attention span to do something like that. But it's perfectly possible. This play is only, page count in here is 189 for as far as the play is concerned. It goes on for 189 pages, but that's only, I think, the right side. The right side of the book is going to be the play, and then the left side is going to be, let me make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, the right side is going to be the actual play, and the left side is going to be the insight into the play, into the words, into the language to help you understand it better. So really, divide 190 by 2, it's 95. So the page itself is the play itself, without the notes and without the introduction, and minus the insights on the left side that help you understand the play better. The play is 95 pages, so it can definitely be read in one sitting, and not even a long sitting at that. So that's Macbeth by Shakespeare. We have another short story, or not another, but it is a short story. It is The Nutcracker by Alexandre Dumas, and you know what? I've never read this. I've not read it, but it's so teeny. Let's see how many pages it is. It's under 200 pages. It's about 142 pages, The Nutcracker. So it's definitely, you can definitely take it down in one sitting. And by my best estimation and from my experience reading The Count of Monte Cristo, it'll be an enjoyable 142 pages to read. So that's The Nutcracker by Alexandre Dumas. Next, we have a little bit of philosophy. Apparently, I'm a dude, bro. And so we have a little bit of Stoic philosophy here. We have some Seneca. This book, again, is very, very short. This is How to Die. And I love this book. And it can be read in one sitting because, again, it is okay. So How to Die is 119 pages, so you could definitely read this in a sitting if that's what you're into. It's not hard to read. It's very accessible. This translation is really good, really easy to get into, really engaging, and the pacing is really steady. It's very steadily paced. I had a fun time reading this, and I got sucked up reading it, where I just would just lose track of time. So that's going to be How to Die by Seneca. Next, we have a book of poems. A Book of Love Poems and a Song of Despair by Pablo Neruda. This book was okay to me. I didn't really like it that much, but I read it in one sitting. So you can too, buddy. Next, this one is one of the longer books on this list, but it's The Long Walk by Stephen King. This book was really good. And I may be a little biased because I am a Stephen King the artist. I am a Stephen King stan. So far as his art is concerned, little questionable about his personality and like who he is outside of that. But I am a stan of Stephen King, the artist. And so this book is, yeah, this is the longest book on this list at like 307 pages. But if you really wanted to, you could read this in one sitting in a whole day. I think it's possible. Stephen King's writing is just so animated, so um, engaging and compelling that I think you could read it very easily in one sitting. So that's The Long Walk by Stephen King. Next, we have a book that I have tried to read multiple times. I have read it to completion and I just do not see the hype. But just because I didn't really enjoy it doesn't mean that you won't enjoy it. And it fits the theme um, of this video perfectly. And that's going to be The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. You can read this in one sitting. Um, eh. Yeah, it's 180 pages, so you definitely can read it in one sitting. Next, we have a book that I really did enjoy when I first read it. That's going to be Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. Um, I don't know what to say about this. It's been a while since I read it, but I really enjoyed it when I did read it. So let's see the page count. Yeah, this one is going to be 218 pages. Can definitely read this in one sitting. It'll be on the longer end, but I think you could read it. I think once you get started, you'll want to continue reading. So that's Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. One that is a little bit longer. It's over 200 pages, but I love this book. This book was really good. And that's going to be The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides. Don't you just love how I said that name so easily? I love this book. I have a vlog on reading this book, and then I have, I think, a either 2 or 3 part video essay on this book. So if you're interested in that, you should watch those videos right after this. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and the last time I read this book, I did read it in one sitting. I did have an audiobook companion, but if you have the attention span to sit down for a day and read a book, this would be really good. That's going to be The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides. We're getting to the last few books on this list. This one is going to be Winter in the Blood by James Walsh. This could be read in one sitting. I did not read this in one sitting, but it definitely could be if you have the attention span for it. I don't even think it. Yeah, this is only 139 pages if you really wanted to, and if you're into this, you could read it in one sitting. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. I think I only rated it about 3.5 stars, but just because I didn't really enjoy it that much doesn't mean that someone else won't enjoy it that much. So, Winter in the Blood by James Walsh. By James Welch, sorry. This next book, I really did enjoy. This book is so vivid. This author, I think, just when I think about ethereal, engaging, engrossing world building or place setting, when I think of being immersed in a place that is in the pages of a book, Edith Wharton comes to mind. This book, when I was reading this book, I was going through a really rough time, and this book was like a light at the end of the tunnel for me. It helped me to escape. It helped me to think about something other than what I was going through, and it helped me feel better, even if just for a little while as I was reading it. And I remember while I was reading it, I was getting ready for bed. I was in bed, reading in bed, about to go to sleep, and I remember falling asleep and dreaming about this book, dreaming about winter and New England and just the cold and the snow, the brightness of the snow and the pewter color of the sky and this bleakness, but also quiet beauty that comes with a snowy winter day, a harsh, snowy winter day. And it just touched a nerve in my imagination that very seldom is touched. And it's a short book. So you could read this in one sitting. I could go on and on and on about this book, honestly. Ethan Frome is not even 100 pages. It's literally just 99 pages in this Penguin Black Spine edition. So you can definitely take this in one sitting. And this is one of the ones that I'm like, read it. If you don't read anything from this list, read this. Okay? So beautiful. So beautiful. We have a book that used to be one of my favorite books of all time, but has unfortunately been knocked off of that list just, you know, just due to time and to growth and my evolution as a reader. And that's okay. That's going to be Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I love this book. I've talked about this book many times on my channel, but alas, the sun has set on Frankenstein in my universe. But you could still read this in one sitting. It's beautifully written. It's really good and it's compelling, and Victor Frankenstein is the worst main character I've ever read. Last but not least, before I get to, I think, an honorable mention. Yes, before I get to an honorable mention, last book on this list is going to be The Pearl by John Steinbeck. Again, this is very, very small. But it was really good. I enjoyed it so much. I don't remember what I rated this, but it had to have been a high 4, 4.5, 4.75, if not a 5-star read. I really enjoyed this book, and I do plan on reading it again at some point. And it's less than 200 pages, I'm sure. And there are also little illustrations in here, which I think is very beautiful. This is another one that is not even 100 pages long that you could take down in a sitting really easy. And that's going to be The Pearl by Mr. John Steinbeck. So some honorable mentions are going to go, of course, I have to bring up Fyodor Dostoevsky. So one of them is White Nights. His short story, White Nights, is really good. The Dream of a Ridiculous Man was really good, very, very short. You could read that in one sitting. Notes from Underground, you could read in one sitting. So there are a lot more books that could very possibly be on this list, but that's my official list with a few honorable mentions. Again, if you have anything that you want to add to this list, any books that you think that I missed, or any books that you think or that you enjoyed that and you read in one sitting, go ahead and comment those down below. But this is going to be the end of the video. So I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening. And most importantly, I hope you read a good book, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.